Welcome, my dear friend, to Two Naked Minds, the sleep stories, helping you go to sleep while hearing wonderful, soothing stories. So, my dear friend, here we go. Tonight's story comes from a small village called Devgaon, a village of clay-roofed houses, matti ke ghar, narrow lanes, old neem trees, and one very unusual thief, chore. A thief who entered homes quietly at night, took something small, and somehow left the family richer than before. How could that be? ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? What kind of thief takes from a house and yet leaves more behind? The people of Devgaon could not understand it. Some wanted to catch him. Some secretly hoped he would visit the next time. And one old woman believed she already knew who he was. But she said nothing. Not yet. So, my dear friend, tonight we will discover what happened in that little village, Devgaon, and why many years later the villagers stopped calling him a thief at all. We'll see how it unfolds slowly, gently, one quiet night at a time. My dear friend, if your lights are on, just put them off. Just sit quietly with your body loose and relax. Just lie down in your bed. Do not sit. Close your eyes and listen this beautiful story. Long ago, beyond the busy towns and the wide stone roads, there was a village called Devgaon. It rested between two low hills with a narrow river flowing beyond the fields. The village was neither rich nor poor. It had enough grain for the year, enough water in the old well, enough shade beneath the banyan tree, and enough stories to fill many long summer evenings. The houses stood close together, as village houses often do. Their walls were painted in pale shades of blue, yellow, and soft pink. Some doors, my friend, had little bells tied above them. Some courtyards had tulsi plants in the center. Every morning, women swept the ground and drew rangoli near the doorstep. Every afternoon, buffaloes rested beside the pond, and every evening the smell of wood smoke, warm rotis, and dal drifted through the lanes. Life in Devgaon moved slowly. The villagers woke with the sun. They worked in the fields, opened their shops, carried water, stitched clothes, repaired tools, prepared food. And when darkness arrived, they closed their doors and rested. बस एक सीधी सी जिंदगी थी, a simple life. Nothing moved too quickly there. Even the village clock above the panchayat office was usually a few minutes late, and no one seemed to mind. My dear friend, perhaps as you listen, you may notice that you don't have to hurry either. There's nothing here you need to reach, no answer you need to find quickly. The story knows where it is going, even when you don't. And sometimes it can feel pleasant not to know, because when someone else is carrying the story, you can allow yourself to carry less, a little less in the mind, a little less in the shoulders, a little less with every soft breath leaving the body. You don't have to change your breathing. Your breath already knows what to do. It has been breathing for you all day, and it can continue breathing for you now. If you could just watch the breath gently going in and slowly out. The breath is going in and slowly out. Perhaps the out breath comes a little longer, or perhaps it doesn't. Both are fine. Nothing needs to happen in any particular way. You may listen closely, or you may hear only parts of the story. A word here, a sentence there, and the quiet spaces in between. Sab theek hai? Everything is alright. One morning, just after sunrise, the village potter Keshav stepped into his courtyard and noticed that something was missing. Keshav made clay pots, lamps, cups, and large water vessels. His hands were always covered in fine brown dust. He had a little workshop beside his house, where his wheel sat near a low window. The missing object was not valuable. It was only an old brass spoon. The spoon had a slightly bent handle and had been hanging near the kitchen shelf for years. Keshav's wife, Lata, searched every corner. She checked beside the stove. She checked beneath the green sack. And she checked besides the grain sack. She checked inside a basket that contained onions and garlic. Kal raat yahi to rakha tha, she said. It had been right here. Last night, the front door had been locked. The windows had been closed. Nothing else was missing. Not the small box containing their savings. Not Lata's silver anklets. Not even the fresh clay lamps drying near the workshop. Only the bent brass spoon. It was puzzling, but hardly serious. Then Keshav walked into his workshop, and there beside his wheel he found something unexpected. For several weeks, the wooden leg of his work table had been loose. It rocked whenever he pressed clay upon it. Keshav had intended to repair it. Tomorrow, he would say, "Aaj nahi, kal karte hain." Then another tomorrow would arrive. But now the table stood perfectly still. The table stood perfectly still. Someone had fitted a small piece of wood beneath the broken leg. The wood had been carved to the exact size. No wobble remained. Beside the table was a small clay cup filled with warm tea. The tea was still giving off a thin ribbon of steam. Keshav looked at Lata. Lata looked at Keshav. Neither spoke for a while. Finally Lata said, "जो वो स्पून ले गया, टेबल ठीक करके गया." जो भी स्पून ले गया, टेबल ठीक करके गया. Whoever took the spoon had repaired the table before leaving. Keshav scratched his head. It was the strangest theft Devgaon had ever known. It was the strangest theft Devgaon had ever known. By lunchtime, everyone in the village had heard about it. At the tea stall, men discussed the matter with great seriousness. At the well, women offered 10 different explanations. Some said a child had done it. Some said Keshav had misplaced a spoon and repaired the table himself. One man said, "It must be a wandering spirit." The school teacher said, "Wandering spirits probably had no use for brass spoons." And old Shanti Nani, who sat beneath the banyan tree every afternoon, simply smiled and said, "हर चीज का जवाब तुरंत मिलना जरूरी नहीं होता." She said, "Not every question needs to be answered immediately. Some answers come slowly, like evening shades spreading beneath a tree, like sleep arriving when no one is watching for it." Three nights later, the thief returned. This time, he entered the home of Meera, the village tailor. Meera lived with a younger daughter, Tara, in a small house beside the temple lane. See, Tara stitched blouses, kurtas, school uniforms, and cloth bags. Her sewing machine was old. Its black paint had faded, and the wheel made a soft squeaking sound whenever she worked. That night, Meera slept deeply. The following morning, she discovered that one spool of red thread was missing. Yes, she discovered that one spool of red thread was missing. Only one. There were many other spools beside it, blue, yellow, white, green. But the red one was gone. Meera opened her wooden box. Her money was untouched. She checked the kitchen. Nothing had been taken. Then Tara called from the doorway, "Amma, come and see. The little girl's school sandals had been torn for many days. One strap had separated from the sole." Meera had promised to take them to the cobbler after finishing her orders. But there had always been more work. Now both sandals had been repaired. The straps had been stitched neatly with strong thread. The soles had been cleaned, and besides them sat a small packet containing 2 fresh guavas. One for Meera, one for Tara. Meera held the sandals in her hands. She looked at the tiny stitches. They were patient stitches, careful stitches, the work of someone who did not rush. And as you hear about those small stitches, one beside another, each returning where it needed to be, perhaps your mind can also become less interested in holding everything together. Because the bed is holding you now. The pillow is holding your head. The surface beneath you is carrying your weight. You don't need to carry yourself. Not right now. Perhaps the muscles around your eyes can do a little less. The jaw can rest. The tongue can rest. Quietly inside the mouth. The shoulders may remember how to lower themselves. or they may already be lowering without needing any instructions at all. And as the villagers of Devgaon slowly began wondering about the mysterious visitor, you can wonder less. You can let thoughts come and go without completing them. A thought may begin and forget where it was going, and another may appear and drift somewhere far away. Just as a spool of thread can slowly unwind and then become still. The village becomes curious. Within 2 weeks, 4 more homes received visits. From the grain merchant's house, the thief took a small copper coin. Just a small copper coin. But before leaving, he repaired the cracked lid of the storage barrel and swept away grain that had spilled behind it. From the school teacher's house, he took an old fountain pen that no longer worked, but he mended the torn pages of 6 children's books and arranged them neatly by size. From the flower seller's courtyard, he took a single marigold garland, but he fixed the leaking pipe that had been wasting water beside her garden. From the home of a lonely widower named Hari, he took an empty glass jar, and in exchange, he left a warm meal covered carefully with a steel plate, rice, dal, a little sabzi, and 2 soft rotis wrapped in cloth. Every theft was small, every gift was larger. Not larger in price, but larger in usefulness, larger in kindness, larger in the quiet relief it brought. Soon people began calling the visitor the Dayalu Chor, the kind thief. The name traveled from one lane to another. Children whispered about him during school. Shopkeepers whispered him while counting coins. The village headman, Mukhya Ramdas, did not find it amusing. "A thief is still a thief," he said. "If we allow this, tomorrow someone may take something important." So Ramdas announced that the village would keep watch. 4 men volunteered. They carried wooden sticks and sat beside the banyan tree after dark. For the first hour, they remained alert. They spoke about footprints, locks, and suspicious shadows. During the second hour, the conversation became slower. During the third, one man leaned against the tree trunk. Another stretched his legs. The lantern flame moved gently in the night breeze. The leaves above them made a soft repeating sound. Shh. One man yawned, then another. They tried to remain awake, but trying to remain awake can sometimes make the eyelids feel heavier. And noticing heaviness can make it easier to notice warmth. And perhaps you may notice, or not notice, how one hand feels warmer than the other, or how the feet may seem closer or further away, or simply less important than they were a few moments ago. You don't have to know exactly where relaxation begins. Perhaps it begins in the breath, perhaps in the hands, perhaps in the spaces between words. And when you no longer need to decide where it begins, it may continue all by itself. You can just let go. Just allow that feeling to let go. And then finally, someone caught the thief He was Mohan. Mohan was one of the villagers. He was someone who believed in the wellness and well-being of people. So he used to go every night to all those people who suffered something in their life, who lacked something in their life, who had some issues in their life. And he went and started helping them in disguise as a thief. One fine day, the Sarpanch, the head of the village, caught him and brought him in front of the entire village. And he was asked why he did this. He said, I know I go through a lot of pain. I have many challenges in life. Every night I go to sleep, I just wish someone magical, amazing human being like an angel would come, and when I wake up would solve all my problems. But never it ever happened. It never happened. So I thought, why not? I become the angel for others. And then came a thought of helping people in need. So I started searching everywhere. In the village, people in pain, and I started helping them. Like this, I am Mohan, disguised as Sadhosh. I just want you to go to sleep. 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 Sleep.